Hey, race fans, Paul Harkner, the voice of the Patriot Sprint Tour, here for episode 4 of PST Weekly. And this week we welcome on one of our new up-and-coming drivers in the region, John Trenca. John, thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's kind of recap 2020 for you, man. It's kind of hard to go off. I mean, you kind of started the year, you kind of didn't really know where your season was going. And then once June, July came around, though, you teamed up with Mike Stelter. And kind of take us through, though, how the second half of the season went.
Yeah, definitely. So right about June, I want to say, Mike Stelter reached out to me, looking to fill his seat for the rest of the season. We didn't really have much of a season, but he needed somebody to drive for him for the 3 to 4 shows that we did have around here, which was awesome. Mike Stelter has been a very good friend of my father's for many years, so it was a pretty cool deal to kind of come about, and he's always been somebody that I've always wanted to drive for. So I got offered the ride. We decided to go down to Pennsylvania with him for a 3-day swing, 410 racing actually, with the 360. It was a great first weekend with the team. We did a 3-day show. I think we finished top 10 at Mercer one night. So things started off really well there. And then we went into Penn with the Patriots. The first night got rained out. We did decent in the heat race. And then the second night back at Penn just didn't go in our favor. We couldn't seem to get out of the wrecks, but we showed speed all night. So it's been good. 2020 was kind of a mixed season. Everybody kind of dealt with the, COVID-19 and everything. But I was glad to stay behind the wheel and drive the 36.
Yeah, but is there anything, though, that you can kind of take, though, from, racing, those 4 or 5 times in this 36 car that you think you can build off for next season?
Yeah, definitely. I think it helped, staying in a sprint car for another season. Granted, it was only, like I said, 5 or 6 shows. Just being behind the wheel, being out there racing, gaining the laps. Lacking lap experience by a lot on these guys. They got a lot of laps, and I'm still very inexperienced. So I think that was a big boost. Just overall seat time is one of the biggest things that I can take right now. It was a confidence booster, knowing that we had speed. I think at Penn we finished second to Danny Varon in our heat race. So, the speed's there. We just got to put a night together. And other than that, it's just, it's a waiting game. You got to get better. You got to get more lap times. And I just got to get, more experience under my belt.
Yeah. And, let's even go back to even last year, 2019 for you, where, it was your first full year in a 360, and you continued to actually progress throughout the year. Back in August, though, you picked up that first dash win there at Outlaw, though. But kind of take us through that experience, though, of your first full year, where you were getting a lot more racing, a lot more seat time, though, at a lot of other tracks throughout the Northeast.
Yeah. So last year I got to drive for John Brutcher. The car was number 99, luckily for my choice. We got to run a full season with a 360. It'd been my first time in a 360 sprint car, going from the go-karts. So it was definitely a big change. The start of the season was more or less getting used to the power, getting used to sprint car racing, getting used to just, the way a sprint car handles on the track. So it was a big adjustment. So our first few races were more or less just getting me comfortable, learning the mechanics of sprint car racing, and just getting lap time. And then as, the season progressed, just racing weekly with the Patriots helped me a ton. I was able to gain, a lot of experience and progress fairly quickly. I think, picking up that dash win helped. It was a big confidence booster. I thought I was able to show, what I can do and what I think I can do out on the track. So it was a slow progression of, slowly getting better and better. And I think, the top 5s were right around the corner. We weren't far from it. We just needed to put a night together, and I just needed a little bit more experience.
Yeah, not only that, though, while we have the time, though, just kind of describe, though, racing with your brother. Your brother finally had that breakout year last year, and, I know you guys were able to go back and forth and, take each other through things. And so kind of, not very many, though, do we see in this sport nowadays where you get 2 brothers on the racetrack. And kind of describe that experience, though, what it was, though, to race with your brother, Joe.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. I tell everybody this, without him, I don't think I would have been half as good as I've been. I still have a long way to go, but having somebody who had 7+ years in sprint car racing experience to go over to his notebook, to get, a second opinion on him, it helped me a ton. There was nights where I had nothing. There was nothing I could do on my end, and I could walk over to Joe's trailer, and he knew what I needed to do better. He knew what I needed to change. Having somebody there that's already experienced all of it, it's a huge plus. It's having a second set of eyes watching you on the track. It's just having somebody that has already experienced all of that. And like I said, without him, I wouldn't have had the season I had, and it's been an awesome season. We had great time, the Canada trips, the Pennsylvania trips. His guys are great, Matt and Zach. So, having them in my corner was huge, and I think it led to my overall, success there in the end of the season, because it wouldn't have been as good as it was without them.
Yeah, and while we got the time though, John, let's kind of just go over your racing background. Kind of tell us how you got started. Mentioned earlier in this interview though go-karts though, but take us from the very start, and then what led you, to now.
Okay. So we started in quarter midgets. I was about 6 or 7. We had a 5-car team. It was Zach, myself, Joe, and Ronnie. They're a 4-car team, but Joe and Zach had ran a couple of different classes. Ronnie and I had our own quarter midgets, so we had a pretty big quarter midget team. We started at Syracuse and Fulton. Traveled all over the place to Thompson and Little E, a little dirt track out behind Eldora. So that's where my racing career started. I ran that until I was about, I want to say 12. And then I gotten too big. I outgrew the quarter midget. I grew too tall, and my head couldn't fit inside the cage. I had the biggest quarter midget out there, and they didn't make another size up. So unfortunately, my racing career had been cut short there. And then about the age 15, I was offered a little dirt go-kart ride out behind Oswego. Did that for 3 years with Tim Kelly, and we were very successful in that. Never won a championship, but I think we had 13 or 14 wins in that. King of the Cartway, we were very successful in that. And then fortunately, I was able to pick up a ride in a 305 with Lee Sanders and his wife Cheryl. That was only 2 to 3 races. Lee actually had some illness problems, and so that season was cut short. And then that eventually led me to the next season, which was 360s with John Brutcher. So it was a kind of up and downhill racing career. Not something many people know about me, but it was definitely a tough ride getting to where I've been. But I'm glad that I'm here, and I just want to race every season.
Yeah, and moving into these next couple of months though, one thing that you've kind of been leading the charge in this region is the movement of iRacing. That's continuing to exponentially grow with a lot of our drivers in this region though, and there's this ESS winter series that's coming up though. How excited, and then how much are you looking forward to you're not have to wait till April or so. You're going to be racing in some type of sport at a competitive level though, within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Any form of racing, whether it's virtually or in person, I think it's great for the sport. It draws fans to our sport, all year round, because normally, 5-6 years ago, you didn't have this. Once November hit, it was, you got to wait till April, May time to see any form of racing. Some people can make the, the statement that, oh, it's just a video game. But, it's actually something that's taken off, like you said. Last year when COVID hit, it was the only form of racing we had, and it's something that a lot of guys take seriously. There's a lot of money in it, and overall, it draws a lot of attention to our sport in a positive manner. So I'm thrilled for it. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for everybody. Believe it or not, but you can learn a lot from it. I had actually ran Lernerville on there a few times, and then we went to Lernerville in Pennsylvania with Stelter, and I mean, the track was identical. There was actually some things that I took from iRacing and applied them on the track at Lernerville. So, you can't really make the statement that it's just a video game. It's something that's, kind of helping grow our sport. It's giving people like Bryce Bailey a chance to, grow his name and make his way through the racing rankings by, making a name in iRacing. So it's definitely something that's, helping our sport. I think the ESS series is great. It's, allowing fans and other outsiders or, crew members that don't get to race, it gives them a chance to actually race with guys like myself, Paulie, Joe, all sorts of different people. So I think it's great for the sport. And luckily, I was able to team up with Forward Bite and be a part of the whole iRacing thing. I got a lot of guys on the iRacing by building them computers. So overall, I think it's great for the sport, and a lot of people are seeming to enjoy it. So it's definitely a positive.
Yeah, and like I said, you just nailed my next question though. You are also kind of also helping this region though with your production of building these machines. Just kind of take us through though. You know, how much has that kind of helped that side of your business though? Because I know you're trying to get that to grow, and I know there's been a lot of inquiries though for that for iRacing specifically.
Yeah, definitely. It all started with Kelly. Kelly Hebing wanted a computer, and she had knew that I built computers back in the day in high school for all my buddies. And one night all it was a simple text message of, hey, what's it going to cost for me to get a computer, and when can I have it? So we just got talking, and I said, you know what, let me just put a post on Facebook, see if any of these other racers need a computer. I wasn't looking to, you know, make, do what I did with the computers, but that one post, all of a sudden, left and right, I had all sorts of racers contacting me. Hey, I need a computer. When can you get it to me? So it kind of took off, and it helped grow my business, helped grow my name. And it allowed for a partnership with Forward Bite. So there's been nothing but positive from it. The growth in the business has been great from it. And I looked at it as, almost like a great opportunity for me to connect with all these racers. There's guys that I've never spoke to them in the pits before, because I'm just a naturally quiet guy. If I don't know you, I don't really say much to you, not in an offensive way or a rude way. It's just how I am. And so, when you reach out to these guys, or they reach out to you and they need a computer, you build that relationship with them. You go play some iRacing with them, and then boom, you got new relationships. So there's been nothing but positives from it. And getting the racing community on iRacing for, a cost efficient way, it's just been great. There's been nothing but positive from it.
Yeah, and you actually built a computer though for also Shark Racing though, and this, I mean, that's got to be huge though for your business. I have to imagine though, building for a race team though that honestly they've made a name for themselves on the World of Outlaw Tour this year with both Jacob and Logan though, and that's a proven track record that obviously nationally known drivers in sprint car racing are trusting you with your services.
Yeah, that I had received a phone call from Bobby Allen one day, and I thought it was a prank. I thought somebody was pranking me. I thought Joe was up to no good. I thought Zach was up to no good. I said, this is too good to be true. There's no way Bobby Allen's calling me right now. And sure enough, it was Bobby Allen. He said he had heard enough people chattering my name and recommending my services, and that was a cool day. It was a cool moment. Definitely my stomach dropped when I heard Bobby Allen was calling John Trenca to buy a computer. And luckily enough, he was more than he was a great host. He had us down in Pennsylvania. Kelly and I took the road trip down there, gave us a shop tour. They were great people. We met Jacob. He's a great kid. It's cool to see him pick up his first win. So building a relationship with a team like Shark Racing, like you said, that was also huge for business. That was a staple point. So that definitely took the sales and just the expansion of the business, and just the iRacing experience just to a whole new level. I took it a lot more serious because I knew that this was getting bigger than just this local 19-year-old kid building computers for everybody back in May. So it was cool. And like I said, they were great people. He was a great host, and having a relationship with Bobby Allen now, who's a legend in sprint car racing. I mean, if you know anything about sprint car racing, Bobby Allen's a big name. So to have him in your contact list and your phone to call at any point is really cool.
Yeah, and and just talk about you talked about how great the Allens are, and you said it was cool, but also in this region though, we have such an incredible great group of people that we see on the weekends. And kind of from your point of view though, how awesome is it though to be a part of this sprint car fraternity up here in the Northeast?
Oh, it's one of the best things. I've met some of the best people. I consider them family. Racing with families like the Zimbardis, the Hebings, the Cooks, the list is endless. Roger Levieux, who just came onto the tour last year, he's a great friend of mine, a supporter of my racing career now. There's so many, the list is endless. And so to be a part of it is awesome. And to be able to connect with these people and race with them weekly, we all got a certain level of respect for one another, and at the end of the day, we're all friends, and it's something that not many people understand unless you're a part of it. So it's tough to explain it, but I'm grateful that they're accepting of having a 20-year-old driver out there, and they give me respect. They could have beat me up and you know threw me to the dogs, but they've been grateful. They've been great to me. So having all those people around it's definitely a cool experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are you looking forward to most to though in 2021, John? The schedules are still in the works though, but what are you looking forward to most though for 2021? Kind of, I have to imagine though, it has to feel somewhat good and assuring though that, you do have a racing future coming up.
Yeah, definitely. So my biggest thing with 2021 is I want to get out on the track as much as I can. I want to race every weekend. Like you said, with schedules coming out soon or being made, uh, just sit down, assess, and see what I can and can't race. I'd love to race as much as I can. Hopefully, I'll be behind the wheel. It's one of those things where I'm a season-to-season driver. I'm not sure or not each season whether I'll be behind the wheel. I'd like to hope that I be behind the wheel for 2021. Like you said, I hope that I have a good, racing future ahead of me. I would love to continue racing. I would love to, race weekly with the Patriots and the Empire Super Sprints here in the Northeast. I think I have a long road ahead of me, but I'd like to think that I can, leave a mark in this region and, kind of progress my racing career throughout the years here in the Northeast.
Yeah, and I kind of want to end it with this though. What kind of advice though? Because like you said, persistence is something though that I kind of think when I think of John Trenca. So it's just because everything that you kind of had gone through, where you're talking with the Sanders and that kind of ended unfortunately, and then last year with Brutcher Racing, and then COVID this year though. But what kind of advice though would you give to racers that are kind of trying to make their own mark though in this region? And what just the ability though to not give up and just keep pushing forward, and you starting a business and getting your name out that way, and just staying involved, and even in the beginning of the year though, you were willing to help crew for Kelly Hebing, and I have to imagine though all those efforts that you put forward though probably got you where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. I think you are a product of your own environment. I think you're a product of your habits. I think you're a product of your mindset. So I think the best piece of advice that I could give anybody that's in a situation similar to what I was is just hard work pays off. Hard work breeds talent when talent doesn't work. That's a big saying that I stand by. You gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep going. Life is gonna throw challenges at you left and right. You can take it from me. I've had a very up and down racing career. And like I said, I'm a season to season driver. All I got is a seat and a steering wheel and a suit bag. So it's one of those things where you can't give up. You gotta stay relevant. You gotta keep your name in the in the circle of racers. You gotta be willing to work. You gotta be willing to take a step back and crew like I did for a little bit. You gotta be willing to do whatever's put in front of you to advance yourself further in life. It will pay off. I know it does. It did for me. It's patience. It's a lot of those things put together. And the worst thing you can do is give up. You can't give up too short, because your breakout year could be right around the corner next year, or you're one phone call away from a future car owner wanting you to drive for them. So I think the biggest thing is keeping your name out there. Like I said, or like you mentioned, starting the business was also huge. I know I wanted to keep my name out there, and having a marketing / advertising agency, which is 90% of what we're talking about here. You want to keep yourself relevant. You want to be known. You want to be likable. So it's all kind of played into my racing career and somehow came full circle in one way or the other, and it's gotten me to where I am today. And like I keep saying, I think I got a long road ahead of me. I've only scratched the surface. So I think that if I keep going like I have the past few years, I think I can do something great with what I have been presented. But definitely, if there's one thing I can give everybody, it's just you can't give up.
Yeah. All right. Well, John, really appreciate your time this evening though, and really looking forward to the iRacing season though that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and then but more importantly though, looking forward to seeing you back out in a sprint car though in 2021, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. Right. John Trenca though joining us tonight on week 4 of PST Weekly.